you're sitting there going, I've got all the responsibility for scaling and growing the business. Everything comes back through me. That means you're the bottleneck and we need to talk. The simplest answer to that, I think, is to become a coach. Because the more that you can coach, the better that you will bring out in the people around you, the easier your job becomes. Welcome to the latest edition of the Mastermind for Business podcast. As always, joining me in the chair is Caroline. Hey, Caroline.
Hello, Mark.
It's been a big week, really.
Yeah, I think it's been an emotional week. We've had one of our national directors in Metropole take a different path and go out and do some exciting things on her own. So that's Leanne. I'm really excited for her, but sad.
So LJ, if you're listening, 9 years. But it's a good lesson, right? Because I think that, for anybody, for you guys listening to this, if you've got long-term team members that suddenly leave you, it can feel a little bit, I can feel a bit shitty, really, that they're gone. But and we'll talk about this, I think, in next week's episode or the week after. We're going to talk about things you celebrate. But sometimes I think when things come along and kind of belt you, what was it John Lennon said that things, life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. But I think that sometimes when those things happen, it's you've got to celebrate the good part of it. So where I'm going in a really, really, really long-winded way is that what we're celebrating here is the fact that whilst LJ's leaving us, she's off doing her own thing, and that's really exciting. I'm super excited for her. Yeah, 100%. Hey, listen, last week we started working on the GIPD model, right? So what's one thing you can grow, what's one thing you can improve in your business. This week we're going to talk about what's one thing you can protect and what's one person that you can develop. So the exercise here, guys, is for you to think about in your business right now. Last week was, what's just one thing I can grow? Because, and we say this all the time, right? At any given time, there's 100 different things you could be doing, but probably only a couple of things you should be. And a very simple way to scale your business, both in terms of the revenue or the profitability, but also the freedom that you get, is to just focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah. Yep.
And we've taught that 5 ones concept.
Yes.
Yeah, just one thing at a time. So last week was what's one thing you can grow? And then what's just one thing you can improve? Let's talk about one thing you can protect. What are we talking about when we talk about protect?
Well, I think there's different things that you can look at when it comes to protecting your business. I think this is probably a traditional way of thinking. You can protect your reputation. You can protect your customers' trust in you. You can protect your values and culture. But we don't just need to look at every business has assets, yes, but it's not just about the assets that you need to protect. It's also about the people that you need to protect in that.
Yeah.
Because they are one of your biggest assets.
I also think it's about protecting standards too. Like, I think standards is a really big component of this. I mean, you and I caught a plane from Melbourne back to Brisbane night before last.
Yep.
And it was really interesting because as we were walking up the Aero Bridge, the guy who was walking in front of us from Virgin, there was rubbish on the floor, and he never stopped and picked it up.
No.
And you and I both commented. We went,
He didn't
wow.
stop.
So the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. So I think when we were talking about protecting things, there's reputation, there's client service, but there's standards within the business. And I reckon that's a really important thing to protect, particularly in a service business, which is who we mostly work with.
Yeah.
Because your standards in a service business are so much more important, I think, than standards in something that might be more transactional in nature.
Yep.
Yeah. What else can you protect?
Well, I think your morale, if you're looking at
Culture.
the culture of your business. I mean, culture, we all bandy about culture and everybody likes talking about culture, but it's such a big part of business that if you can get ways and implement ways consistently on how to protect the team morale, that's going to get you to a business where it's not just reliant on you. And it sounds quite third party-ish, I guess, but that is a huge way of growing your business and maintaining your business.
And the other thing too, I think that people can often fall into a mistake, and if you're listening to this now, I want you to think about, is this you? Is when we're talking about protecting things like reputation or standards or culture or delivery standards or processes, like if you've got a process that's working and it delivers great service to the client, then you should be protecting that process as well.
Yeah.
But I reckon one of the mistakes that people make often is they go, well, there's only the kind of the client-facing people, or only
No,
the
no.
revenue
Every
generators?
role has
Yeah.
every position in the business has a role to play when it comes to protecting something. So, like your receptionist, they have to put on a good show and a welcoming parade, I guess, at the opening when somebody comes into the business. So their first impressions is something they have to maintain there and protect that.
Yeah.
If they're an administration role, they need to look at the accuracy and consistency, and that's a protection.
Yeah, and I think so. It kind of, if we were to draw like it as a triangle, you could go like there's receptionists or, for want of a better term, sort of more junior people in your business. They still have things that they should protect because it's leading into an overall protection of the culture, the standards, the delivery standards, etc. of the business. But then as a leader, then you've got a different role to protect in a lot of ways.
Definitely, your leaders need to look at your vision and your culture as a big umbrella and the direction in which you go. If you're in a leadership group and the direction seems to change all the time, you can't. That's just not going to work. You can't change the direction.
Yep.
With the same direction of the wind, you'll end up with a cyclone.
Well, that's right. But the other thing too, I think, is that if you're listening to this now and you're going, listen, this is all fine, but I just want to grow my business. And it's fine that I might want to protect reputation, or I might want to protect standards or whatever, but I just want to grow my business. I want to make more money so that I can spend more time at home, more time with my family, more time doing the things that I wanted to do when I first started this show. But the reality is that if you have growth without this level of protection, I reckon you end up with instability.
Definitely.
Because what happens is it's growing and it's like it's kind of a big wonky growth. It's like I'm trying to think of all these different analogies, but for me, it's like having a ladder that you're growing, but it's not on a solid foundation. So you've got to protect every step as you grow. You've got to make sure you've got really solid things, because if for whatever reason you drop down a rung, which could be the market, it could be governments making stupid decisions. Do you know what I mean? The things you can't control. The economy, the interest rates, whatever it might be. War in the Middle East. There's a whole bunch of things that impact.
Yeah.
If for some reason your business drops back a little bit, you want to make sure that you've got those really good, solid things protected so it drops back comfortably and safely.
Yep. It's important, when you do protect your business for today, you're building tomorrow.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, building today develops tomorrow. If you protect your team and protect the way that your systems are running, the successful systems that are running, that is going to build your business because it's eliminating instability.
That's a nice little takeaway, guys. Protect today to build tomorrow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you.
It's good. Can I use it?
Yeah, use it on a reel. We use it in a reel.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the third lever. The fourth lever is develop, but this is not developing something, because we've already grown something, we've improved something, we've protected something. This is developing someone.
Yes.
Yeah, talk to me about that.
I think if you're in a position, not if you're in a position, you need to have yourself in a position where you know exactly where any of your team are at any given time. And what I mean by that is not necessarily physically where they are, but perhaps mentally where they are, process-wise where they are, so that you can look at what's the best outcome you want for your team member to be able to get the best out of them, and so that they can feel fulfilled in their job.
Yeah, I just think that one of the greatest skills that you can develop as a business owner, if you've got a team, let's just talk about that, because the team doesn't necessarily, like in Mastermind, in our Mastermind coaching program, we refer to team in a very broad sense, right? We talk about it's the people that work for you, that work with you, that work alongside you. So it's your suppliers and alliances and referral partners, and not just your actual employees. But if you've got a team around you, I reckon one of the greatest skills that you can take on board as a business owner and therefore a leader is coaching.
Yeah.
Because the more that you can coach, the better that you will bring out in the people around you, the easier your job becomes. So if you're sitting there going, this is fine, but they've all got their jobs and I've got all the responsibility for scaling and growing the business. Everything comes back through me. That means, P.S., that means you're the bottleneck and we need to talk. But but the biggest or the simplest answer to that, I think, is to become a coach.
Yeah. I mean,
Coach your
share
team.
your knowledge. Coaching, the benefit of coaching your team as opposed to directing team to do something is you're coaching them and sharing your knowledge. You're giving them ownership on
Yep.
a task as opposed to telling them a task to do and then micromanaging. Nobody likes to be micromanaged. And you're recognizing the effort that they're putting into something that they've taken ownership on.
And, Caroline, with our team, I always like to sort of at the end of the week, and you sort of reflect on the week. And as you said, this is a really good example because you said at the start of this episode that this week's been an emotional week because we got somebody who's left. I always like at the end of the week to go, who is better? Who in our team is better because of my influence in this week? Now, that's not me being a wanker going, I'm here, I'm an influencer, and I'm just, I'm not, just creating great people around me. It's not that. It's just a question of going, in the interactions that I've had with my team in the last 7 days, who is better for those interactions?
Yep. Who did you grow? Who did you improve?
Who did I grow?
Who did you protect, if we're going back to what we were talking about this earlier?
Yeah.
And, who did we develop?
Who did I catch doing something right? Who did I... We're going to talk more about that in a couple of episodes' time, but who did I catch doing something right? Who did I grow intentionally? And I think it's very much about just asking that question of who is better because of the interactions that I've had with them in the last 7 days.
Yeah.
Who have I given more control to? Who have I given ownership? And if you really want to scale the business and not have things come through you and not be the bottleneck and not be the sole person that everything has to come to, then it is about developing the people around you.
Yeah. And it's an improvement. You're improving them by developing them. Improving them is improving your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And what it does, it also creates a culture of ownership. Because, we have people come to us now and go, oh, hey, there's this problem, but I don't want you to do anything. I'm just letting you know that there's a problem, but I've got it.
Yeah.
I've got it covered because we've created that level of ownership for them.
Yeah.
And we see that in, we've got clients that we've been working with a little while and they go, Gavin came back from holidays. Now we've been coaching Gavin for a couple of years, but came back from holidays having had 6 weeks off and didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Because
What a terrible problem.
I know, because everybody's gone, no, that's all right. I've dealt with it. You don't need to do anything with it. It's all under control. Yeah, nice.
I think it's great.
All right. So the 4 levers that we spoke, it was about grow something,
Yep.
improve something, protect something, and develop someone. And so I think the great challenge to put out now.
Yeah. Who are you going to develop this week? Give yourself 5 days. Pick someone today. Whether you're going for a walk or in your car, think about it. Get back to your desk and you just go, I'm going to develop this person today. I want to give them the opportunity to be successful.
Yep. And I think the best businesses don't become the best businesses or don't grow because one person works harder. Guys, your business is not going to become better just because you work harder. One thing we know is working harder is not how you're going to leverage the success out of your business, right? That's just old school thinking.
Yep. Also, when you are picking, you're picking the person, don't pick the person who makes you the most money. Pick the person who wants to try. Pick the person who's trying harder because you will see a bigger shift in them. And once you get those guys shifted, it will bring you money.
I mean, they might be one and the same person.
Maybe.
They could be, yeah. But you're right.
Often we see the person who's making more money into the business as the best employee, and that's not necessarily
the case. All right, so the challenge was find somebody to develop next week, in the next week. I reckon a quarterly challenge would be to have just look at those 4 levers. Once a quarter, just stop and have a look at your business. Okay, in the last quarter, what have I grown? What have I improved? What have I protected? And not just what, but how well have I done it? So I love those sort of scoring things. So you look at it beforehand and afterwards, say on our client delivery standards, I was a 6 out of 10. Now I'm a 7 out of 10. Great. Improved it. And then finally, who have I developed in the last quarter?
Yep. And I'm going to add on to that. Once you've done that, look at it, go, what have I done poorly? What can I fix? What can I change? Change it up.
As always, it's great. End of emotional week with some really positive stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. If you are watching this on YouTube, we'd love you to subscribe. But don't forget to just drop a comment below if there's something that you'd like to hear Caroline and I talk about. If you're listening to this on your favourite podcast player, please subscribe. And if you know somebody who's in business who would love to get more freedom, probably doing all right already, but would just love to be in the position where the business is a whole lot less reliant on them, please make sure you share. Until we chat next, thank you, Caroline.
Thanks,
As
Mark.
always, please make sure you spend time with those who matter most.